So, I want to give all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Lachakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of great millstone for giving them the wisdom of the teachings of the scriptures along with what comes with them. Peace and salutation to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all your sincere Achim across the globe. So, yeah, man, this is from Reuters.com. It says, Uganda enacts harsh anti-LGBTQ law, including death penalty. Yeah, man. It's bad time for these people out there in Uganda, right? This is Gene Deal, former, how they call it, security, head of security at Bad Boy Records in the time when the notorious B.I.G. was still alive. But yeah, let's go in the article, man. Kampala, May 29. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni signed one of the world's toughest anti-LGBTQ laws. Yoweri. There you have him, man. Yoweri Kaguta. Now, he looks kind of Jakeish, man, because I don't believe the people from Uganda are all Jakes. That they are all Israelites. Now, you see Uganda here on the map. Bear with me. Uganda. You see it, it's above Lake Victoria, right on the equator. And, you know, it's, how do you say it, East Central Africa. Now, that doesn't, you know, shuts out the possibility of people in Uganda being Israelites. You know, because Israel is just the sand of the sea spread across the four corners of the globe. But when you touch the word Uganda people on Google, which I just did, then you see, man, the pictures, man. Like, you know, this is definitely not Jake. You know. So the woman here in the middle got Jake flavor. So here and there, you know, there might be sprinkled between them, Israelites. But for the biggest part of it, Uganda people, look at this guy, man. For the most part, Uganda people, they strike me as Hamites, all right, the descendants of Ham. Okay. This is another thing. So Yoweri Museveni, the president of Uganda, he got a little Jake flavor in him, man. So he might be Jake, but you see him, man. And Yoweri, well, in Suriname, Yoweri, it's not real Suriname, but Suriname in the Dutch way, it would mean something like, that's messed up. Yoweri Museveni signed one of the world's toughest anti-LGBTQ laws, including the death penalty for aggravated homosexuality, drawing Western condemnation and risking sanctions from 8 donors. Now, aggravated homosexuality, that would mean of an offense made more serious by attendant circumstances, of a penalty made more severe in recognition of the seriousness of an offense. So basically, it means that you know, you how do you call it? You're a walking duck, man. You know, if you walk around in Uganda looking like, you know, these people, how they walk around here in Amsterdam or in the United States of America or any part of the West, you walk around like these people in Uganda, you fucked up. So same-sex relations were already illegal in Uganda, as in more than 30 African countries, but the new law goes further. Now let's press on that one. 30 more countries. A weird ass picture over there. This goes into what Oh man, it's a list, man. A good list of countries that are, how they dealing with same-sex people. Here are facts about LGBTQ rights in Africa. The maximum penalty is death in Mauritania, Salakia, Somalia, and Nigeria, in states where Sharia law is applied. So they go on. Homosexuality is not a crime in Egypt. Discrimination against LGBTQ community is rife. Gay men are frequently arrested, typically charged with debauchery, immorality, or blasphemy. Ivory Coast do not criminalize gay sex, but there have been recorded cases of detention and prosecution, and so on and so on and so on, man. Now, in the link you see 12feet.io. I'm using that because apparently Reuters, they got a maximum of articles that you can read, that you can open. After a while, they want you to, make an account. But I got this link that I can use, and then I have a ladder. I have a ladder to climb the firewall. Yeah, let's read on, man, because I want to go into some scriptures too. I'm not going to read everything. It stipulates capital punishment for serial offenders against the law and transmission of terminal illness like HIV/AIDS through gay sex. It also decrees a 20-year sentence for promoting homosexuality. The Uganda president has totally legalized state-sponsored homophobia and transphobia. So they're going to be having that on the television too, man. Here we go. United States President Joe Biden called the move a tragic violation of human rights and said Washington would evaluate the implications of the law on all aspects of U.S. engagements with Uganda. I got a few notes, man. Let me check it out. Oh yeah, the guy, Dominic Arnault. Fucked up name. We all can see. Yeah, man. And of course, you got local organizations, human rights stuff coming into that, into the scene. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna read all of it. Yeah, Dominic Arnault, Chief Executive of Open for Business, a coalition of companies that includes Google and Microsoft, said the group was deeply disappointed and the law ran counter to Uganda's economic interests. The UN human rights body declared itself appalled. Uganda's move could encourage lawmakers in neighboring Kenya and Tanzania seeking similar message. So again, man, it's spreading. Other countries are going into it too. They be like, oh, if Uganda doing it, then we can do it too. Then you got this guy talking about he sees, I don't know what the text said, but see, becoming a bisexual, that means need blah blah blah. I need to speak out even louder. So that guy, he's talking about what he said. The group was deeply disappointed and the law ran counter to Ugandans' economic interests. There was another link, man, speaking about that. Basically, what I said, if you walk around like you gay, they're gonna arrest you. They're gonna arrest you, man. You're behind and throw you in prison, and you get you fucked up, man. No pun intended. No, we're gonna get death penalty, man. That's the whole basics of this video. You're gonna get the death penalty. Okay. The inclusion of the death penalty for offense like transmitting HIV was drawn particular outrage internationally. Like apartheid, I'm just scrolling through it, man. You can find it on Reuters yourself. Yeah. This stuff right here. 2009, a bill dubbed "Kill the Gays" for initially proposing executing homosexuals was introduced after a conference in Kampala drew representatives from the United States, including prominent anti-gay evangelist Scott Lively. So Uganda's been working on these things for a long time, man. And that kill the gays bill, you know, the Anti-Homosexuality Act from 2014, introduced by David Bahati. All right, Fox got an article on it. Human Rights Watch. You know, it was passed by the Parliament of Uganda, so it's nothing new, man. It's nothing new anyway, but you know, like, oh, it's outrageous. They're coming up with it now. No. This has been playing for a long time. It prohibited sexual relations between persons of the same sex. Alright? The act was previously called the Kill the Gays Bill, due to the death penalty clauses proposed in the original version. Alright? So yeah, it's been going on for a while now, you know? And another part I wanted to read is, as well as religious campaigning, Africa's anti-LGBT attitudes also have their roots in the colonial era, including an anti-sodomy section of Britain's penal code. By the time the UK legalized same-sex acts in 1967, many former colonies were independent and did not inherit the legal change. So now they want to conclude the text basically with that shit, to reduce any kind of human being, irrespective of their sexuality, to a death sentence based on who they identify as and how they choose to live their lives is something that we should all feel very ashamed about as a continent, said South African filmmaker Lerato. Well, Lerato, I don't know who the fuck you are, but see, according to the Bible, you're not supposed to do that stuff, you know. Lerato. Bear with me 1 second. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. And it reads, it says, if a man also lie with mankind, as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. The blood shall be upon them. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13 reads that. Alright? So yeah. It might be, irrational or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But it's law, man. And speaking about these Hamites, these Hamites, and the colonial era, yeah. They say it's a colonial era, and Britain's penal code, same-sex acts from 1967, right? This part right here. These Hamites been like this, man. We go to Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 4. So I want to close it off also. Come on. Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 4. Speak not thou in thine heart after that the heavenly Father thy power had cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness as the heavenly Father had brought me in to possess this land, but for the wickedness of these nations, the heavenly Father do drive them out from before thee. See, when the people from Sodom and Gomorrah and all the Hamites that were in the land of Israel, when they were there, they were doing all these wicked acts, including sexual devious acts also, man. And because of that wickedness, their Heavenly Father kicked them out of that land, you know. So yeah, man, I just wanted to point that out. Let's go, because the U.S. coming with all kinds of sanctions, and all kinds of countries coming with reactions, and we gotta go check out this, and we gotta do that, and we gotta go do this. This is reactions to new Ugandan anti-LGBTQ laws. You know, all types of people, man. You can read it. Again, it's on Reuters. Claire Byarugaba, a Ugandan rights activist. The Ugandan president has today legalized state-sponsored homophobia and transphobia. Very dark and sad day. We should continue to fight this atrocious legislation as Martin Luther King, blah, blah, blah. We are appalled that the draconian and discriminatory anti-gay bill law is no law. Draconian, he calls it. You know, you're going to find out what's draconian very soon, man. Well, they are not going to find it out because they are going to imply draconian laws. The United Nations. Cry beloved Uganda. U.S. President Biden, the enactment is a tragic violation. Join with other people in the world. We are considering additional steps, including the application of sanctions and restriction of entry into the United States against anyone involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly, we stand with LGBT blah 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 community in pushing back against the rising crackdown. You know, so all these talks, right? Because it is not a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy fact, you know. Psalms chapter 64 verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Alright? So they search out the iniquities, man. And they come up with legislations. Like, hey, we got to come up with this or we got to come up with that. Press these people. Show the world that we don't accept this. Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Alright? Let me find if I can find this other one that comes to mind. On their beds. It's crazy. Nah, man. Maybe I can find it. The other one. Bear with me for 1 second, man. On their bed. Check it out. If you find it. See if I find it this way. Otherwise, we're gonna leave it, man. Sleep practice. No, we're gonna leave it. Maybe I find it and put it in the description box. So yeah, those are the reactions, man, to it. And these people think that the Uganda, government under Yoweri Museveni is gonna bow down to this shit. It's not gonna happen because this will only build up to Uganda joining the whole BRICS coalition, which is just not. It's not just those 5 countries. There's even 24, I believe, 24 more countries that are were added to the original 5 BRICS countries. And he seems also like a warrior too, man. He got it's a warrior type face, man. He looks like it. He looks like he's ready for the battle. 78 years old, So with that, man, I want to give all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Hakwadash. Shalom, and it's on to the next.